Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Pro Tem Fred Brink. I'm filling in for Mayor Gary tonight as he is on travel for the ECA, the Energy Communities Alliance. So I'll now call the December 17, 2024 meeting of the West Richland City Council to order at 6 p.m. And before we get started, I'll ask Stephanie Haug to read the ground rules for the hybrid meeting and then call the roll, please.
All right, thank you. Tonight's meeting will be held in person with a virtual meeting component. If you are participating virtually, please make sure the name shown at the bottom of your video view is the name you would like the mayor to use. You can change this by right-clicking on the three dots in the upper corner of your video view and then clicking Rename. Audience members present in the council chambers will be called upon first during public comment periods. Those participating remotely should virtually raise your hand if you wish to speak. To virtually raise your hand, click on Participants and then click on Raise Hand. If you are participating by phone only, press *9 to raise your hand. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. All right, roll call. Richard Bloom?
Here.
Fred Brink?
Here.
David Fetto?
Here.
May Hayes? Kate Moran?
Present.
John Smart?
Here.
Ken Stoker?
Here.
And as Mayor Pro Tem Brink stated, Mayor Gary is on travel and I have not heard from Councilmember Hayes.
All right, Council, may I have a motion to excuse Mayor Gary, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. And Councilmember Bloom, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilmember Bloom. I'm glad we have so many individuals here tonight. It's always nice to see a well-attended meeting, although I know you're here for a special purpose, most of you at least. So, Council, the agenda is before you. Our previously scheduled executive session has been postponed. Are there any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So we'll start off with some presentations this evening. We have the pleasure of witnessing 3 new officers getting sworn in for the West Richland Police Department. Officers Warren, Officer Sant, Officer Fisher, and Officer Sullivan. And I'm going to ask Commander Kelly, please, to come forward and do the honors of the swearing in, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We'll start with some quick bios for our new officers. We'll start with Aiden Fisher. Aiden Fisher was born in the city of Richland, but soon after moved to Bonnie Lake, Washington, where he spent most of his childhood. 5 years ago, he moved back to the Tri-Cities and began progressing into adulthood. He met his wife here in the Tri-Cities and both launched into their careers as soon as they could. Some of Aiden's hobbies include running, going to the gym, and his favorite, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu / mixed martial arts, which he has been training for the past 2 years. He and his wife are also involved in Special Olympics and enjoy coaching different sports throughout the season. His faith in God is very important to him and is what continuously pushes him to want to help others and serve in the community. Since adolescence, Aiden has always dreamed of being a police officer, so much that as soon as he turned 21, he applied and started the journey into this career. As you can tell, he is obviously young. He is also grateful to be a part of the West Richland and can't wait to engage with the city and serve within it. Thank you, Aiden. Next, we will start with Mikhail Sant. Mikhail Sant was born in Moscow, Idaho. He lived in Washington, D.C. for a short amount of time, and as a young child, moved to the Tri-Cities, where he has lived in the city of Pasco for most of his life. He's 22 years old with a growing family and is accompanied by a supportive fiance and 2 beautiful boys. Mikhail has wanted to get into law enforcement since he was a young boy, looking up to his dad, who was with the Richland Reserves and shortly after became a full-time Prosser police officer. His great-grandfather also was in law enforcement and served as a sergeant for the Richland Police Department in the 1960s. Growing up, he was able to witness the integrity and respect others have for this career. Meeting the officers of West Richland inspired him to apply and call West Richland home. He's proud to have been selected to serve the city of West Richland and looks forward to meeting the members of this growing community. Next, we'll have Ryan Warren. We have two Ryans right here. Ryan Warren was born and raised in Canada and moved to the United States in 2012. He has a twin brother named Adam and two loving parents, Dave and Julie. He attended Tumwater High School and graduated in 2017. After high school, Ryan enlisted into the United States Marine Corps, where he served as a motor transport technician for 6 years. In 2023, he decided to pursue a new career goal and earned his Basic Law Enforcement Academy certificate to become a commissioned police officer. He enjoys watching sports, working out, going snowboarding, and spending time with friends and family. Next, we have Ryan Sullivan. Ryan Sullivan was born and raised in the Tri-Cities. He attended Chiawana High School, followed by Columbia Basin College, where he received his associate's degree. He attended the very first police academy in Pasco, graduating in September of 2023. Ryan then started his law enforcement career with the Mapton Police Department. He's grateful for the opportunity to start his law enforcement career with Mapton, but is excited to continue his career closer to home with the West Richland Police Department. Over the last couple of years, he has built relationships with many of the officers here at West Richland, and they were a driving force to him choosing to work with this department. In his free time, he enjoys working out, spending time with his family. So now we will do the oath of office for all four individuals.
Why don't you guys turn around to
You guys
face
wanna-
the audience and everyone can take pictures.
Feel free to walk up, take
Yep.
pictures, get down in front. Give them a second to get ready. Okay, all four of you, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. I do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Washington, and faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties of police officer for the city of West Richland, Washington, according to law, to the best of my ability. All right, congratulations.
Thank you, Commander Kelly, and congratulations once again to our newly sworn officers. Now, of course, you're all welcome to stay throughout the rest of the meeting, but if you want to leave, of course, you're more than welcome to. Thank you for coming.
Gonna be lonely. at the
Yeah,
end.
back to normal operations. All right.
Do exist.
All right. I'll continue. Tonight's agenda, we have the consent agenda before us, council. Consent agenda consists of payment of the bills, approval of minutes from the regular meeting of December 3, Resolution 71-24, authorizing the mayor to execute a reimbursement agreement with Ben Franklin Transit. Motion to authorize mayor to execute TIB grant agreements. Motion to confirm park board appointments, Johnson and Cahoon. Motion to approve agreement with Pet Data. Motion authorizing reimbursement to developer for upsizing of Kennedy Road water main, Grove Substation. Motion to authorize mayor to execute agreement number 1 with the engineering services contract for North and South Sewer Lift Station Upgrade Project RH2. Finally, motion to approve agreement with Visit Tri-Cities. There is obviously no one left here that might want to speak with regard to the consent agenda. So I will turn to virtual attendees. If there's anyone attending virtually who would like to comment on the consent agenda, please raise your virtual hand. The city clerk will then unmute you. Please state your name and city of residence for the record and provide your comments. You may also press *9 to raise your hand via telephone. I do not see anyone. Stephanie, do you see anyone?
I do not.
All right, council, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I
I'm-
move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, this is our first opportunity for citizen public comment for items not on the agenda. As there is no one present in council chambers, I will turn to any virtual attendees that would like to provide a comment. If so, please raise your virtual hand. City clerk will unmute you, and you will have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Please begin with your name and city of residence for the record. You may press *9 to raise your hand via telephone. Stephanie, do you see anyone? I do not see anyone.
I do not.
Seeing no one, we'll move on. Ordinances, resolutions, motions, and public hearings. Item 8A and B are a public hearing and an ordinance regarding a zoning change for lot size minimums for non-sewered lots. Community Director Eric Mendenhall will present the staff report, and I will assume that will be virtually, Mr. Mendenhall.
That is correct, Mayor Pro Tem. Sorry, I'm not there present, but I didn't want to bring my cold and give you any of you an early Christmas present, an unwanted Christmas present at that. So
Thank you.
I thought I would attend virtually today. The item before you tonight is a public hearing for changing the zoning code to allow for smaller lot sizes in the RM6 and RL zones. Currently, if you do not have sewer connected to your lot or in front of your lot, you are not allowed to subdivide those lots into anything smaller than 10 acres, which is much larger than what is needed for a septic system or anything of the like. So the proposal before you is to change those minimum lot sizes to 1 acre, which is more than enough area for a septic system and connect and be able to provide that kind of service for those lots. So it is a somewhat of a cleanup in some regard, I believe, and facilitates more homes and development within the community that I feel like is needed. And so with that, I did take this to the Planning Commission. They voted unanimously in favor of this and recommend City Council approve the proposed amendment as presented.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mendenhall. I will now open the public hearing at 6:14 p.m. We'll hear in-person comments and then virtual attendees. As there is no one here in person, I will turn to anyone attending virtually who would like to provide a comment. If so, please raise your virtual hand. The city clerk will unmute you, and you will have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Please begin with your name and city of residence for the record. You may also press *9 to raise your hand via telephone. I do not see anyone making a comment virtually. Stephanie, do you see anyone?
I do not see anyone, no.
Seeing no one, I will also close the public hearing at 6:14 p.m. Council, do I have a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance 2824, amending the West Richland Municipal Code to reduce the minimum lot size in RM6 and RL zoning districts to 1 acre in size for non-sewered lots.
Second.
I have motion and second. We will now open it for any discussion or comments. Mr. Bloom.
Mr. Mendenhall, the current code allows for uh, subdividing of lots up to 40,000 square feet by footnote on the table in RL in RL 40 zoning. It's footnote 8. It says the minimum lot size for RL 40 zoning districts remain 40,000 square feet. One lot is being divided is greater than 500 feet from city sewer and served with city water. As my memory, which sometimes gets bad, we put this restriction in originally for the Sand Lakes area. Sand Hill.
Sand Hill.
Is this is this changing for Sand Hill? I mean, is that?
No, Sand Hill, that's why RM6 is the only residential medium zoning that's being changed. RM10 is what Sand Hill's zoning designation is. So that's going to stay at 10 acres.
Well, the only large lot area RM6 was originally old section 8. So I guess, or is this for RM6 that's out in the new to be developed areas of the ranch?
There are some RM6 areas that don't have sewer within 500 feet of their lots. And some of those do exist on Rupert Road.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering what areas of the city we were running into.
Yeah, the purpose for the RM6 is to facilitate some development that is within RM6 on just off Rupert Road that's not owned by the Teagues family.
I guess I guess my concern with the Sand Hill, I was confused when we put this in the first place. But I know it was aimed at the Sand Hill property. So as long as they don't rezone or they
I guess I don't understand your question. It doesn't change anything for the Sand Hill property.
okay.
Councilmember Stoker.
Yes, Mr. Mendenhall, you may have actually answered this. I was curious, you do state that, as I scroll back up, that the RM10 is not included in this because of conflicts and concerns. And so it sounds like at least partially that is the Sand Hill area. Is there any other areas that this applies to, and what are those concerns and conflicts?
It's just the RM10 zone for Sand Hill. My concern there is potential legal issues.
Okay, thank you.
No other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries. Next item is ordinance 2924, 2023-2024 budget amendment. It's an ordinance amending the 2023-2024 biennial budget. Finance Director Aaron Gwynn will present the staff report.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Brink. Good evening, Council. This evening, I'm presenting the 14th and final budget amendment of the 23-24 biennial budget. This budget amendment has 3 items in separate funds. The first items are in 315 Police Facility Fund. This amendment recognizes $3,880 in interest revenue and appropriates $16,830 for additional costs to the police facility and to transfer the remaining funds to the debt service fund that pays for the police facility. This results in a $0 ending fund balance, and the ordinance closes the fund as well. The project is pretty much complete. For Fund 321, Capital Improvement Curb Cooperative Way Fund. This amendment closes the fund. That project was done previously this year. And the final fund for this amendment is the 405 Solid Waste Fund. The amendment recognizes $350,843 in additional collection revenue and appropriates an additional $306,515 for EDS contract payments and additional taxes due to the increased revenue. Staff recommends passing the attached ordinance. The amendment authorizes an increase in the 23-24 appropriations in the amount of $323,345 and an increase in total resources in the amount of $354,723, bringing the revised budget to a total of $149,208,082.
Thank you, Ms. Gwynn. There's no one in our audience, so once again, I'll turn virtually. If there's anyone attending virtually that would like to provide comment, please raise your virtual hand. City Clerk will unmute you and you'll have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Please begin with your name and city and residence for the record. You may also press *9 to raise your hand via telephone. I do not see anyone virtually. Stephanie, do you see anyone?
I do not.
All right, Council, may I have a motion?
I move to pass ordinance 29-24, amending the City of West Richland 2023-2024 biannual budget, closing 315 Police Facility Fund and closing 321 Capital Improvement Curb Cooperative Way Fund.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Council, any questions or discussion on this topic? Councilmember Bloom.
When the budget increase for solid waste looks like we came out 14% ahead. Is that what?
I mean, yes, I was very I went through and did like a very quick analysis to get the numbers so we weren't over budget. I haven't done a detailed, so I don't know exactly, but the budget always has some flex in it. I was just, yeah.
Seemed a little off.
Seeing no other council members with comments or questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Council, we have no unfinished business this evening, nor do we have any new business. So we'll move on to the second opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone attending virtually that would care to make public comment? If so, please raise your virtual hand. City Clerk will unmute you and you'll have 3 minutes to provide your comments. Kindly request that you state your name and city of residence for the record, and you may also raise *9 to comment via telephone. I do not see anyone. Do you, Stephanie?
I do not.
All right, seeing no one, we'll move on to staff and council announcements, reports, and comments. Staff members, Mr. Slade.
Just a quick announcement that we met before council meeting with the park subcommittee and reviewed a draft ordinance that would amend our park regulations and specifically looking to allow youth fishing, bank fishing, and also non-motorized boats at Park at the Lakes. So now that's through the subcommittee, the next step is going to Park Board, which will be their January meeting. It'll come back to council, I think the second meeting of February, in time to get new signs up installed for March of next year. So it's moving forward.
Thank you. Ms. Moran.
Eric's online.
Oh, Eric, I'm sorry. Mr. Mendenhall, please go ahead.
That's okay. I just wanted to announce that at the end of the year, there's people who run the marathons and whatnot. They all put their bits in as far as what the best marathon that they run is. And the Tri-City 70.3 Ironman came in second place for the entire all over the place that these events are held. So I'm guessing in the world, I'm going to claim that. So, and number one wasn't even an Ironman one, so we've taken first place in all the Ironman events. So that's pretty cool for our community and what that does and what that can continue to do for us in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Mendenhall. I'll turn to council comments. Councilmember Moran.
Thank you very much. The next meeting for the Benton Franklin Council of Governments is this Friday. It is a hybrid. I will be attending virtually as I am going to be out of state. But I will say that I have decided to actually nominate another person and BFCOG to be part of the executive board, not because I don't want to be on BFCOG or the executive board, but because I feel it's important to get new blood and new ideas in there. So I had nominated, and I believe that she's going to be the representative of small cities, Councilmember Maricela Sanchez from Prosser. So I know that she is an outstanding person and she will do fabulous on the executive board. I still am going to be on the Council of Governments, but wanted to let that be known. So that meeting's happening. And I hope that in general, folks remember that with the weather being what it is, being rather cold and especially being wet, on my way home today, I did notice that there was a fender bender during the Hanford 500. So please give yourself time to slow down, to turn, give yourself room. 5 seconds is going to possibly be the difference between you coming home to see your kids. So please be safe during this holiday season, and I hope everybody has a good holiday, whatever one they celebrate.
Thank you, Councilmember Moran. Councilmember Fetto.
Thank you, sir. Just for those who aren't active in social media, haven't seen the news, from the desk of the West Richland Chamber of Commerce, we have hired a new director, Keith Moon, formerly of Tumbleweed's Mexican Flair restaurant. He doesn't start officially until January 1st, but he's already brought on 6 new members, which almost images what our sales director did last year, or 2024. So Keith is already up and flying. Like I say, he's already brought in 6 new members. Expect to see more from the chamber. The chamber, I know, it's definitely, we were talking before, we will pick up West in West, Wednesdays in West, whatever it's called. So we talked to Keith. He's got some ideas, haven't been a participant of that. And then, and as of 2025, January, I'll be taking over as president of the chamber. And probably hold on to some of the treasury duties because I've got some control issue problems, but chamber is looking good. I know that the city is one of our major sponsors. I know we've had conversations with budget. What do we get out of that? 2025 is going to be the year to see what the chamber does for this community. Thank you.
Councilmember Smart.
Yes, I'd like to bring up, my screen just went dead. Hang on a second. A topic that I mentioned last council meeting. I want to make sure that my thoughts are out in the open on this, and that I make sure that council has an opportunity to either agree to take some action on this topic or let it slip, which is fine, but that you won't be able to make that decision if I don't explain it to you. So I will read a note that I've sent to Brent and company a few weeks back, and this is how it goes. It's short, 3 paragraphs. After giving the idea of future city proclamations much thought, it is my suggestion and request that council be presented with the resolution to abolish the city proclamation process. I know of no set of rules or guidelines that will prevent us from facing unnecessary, undesirable, and fruitless decisions to either adopt or reject future proclamations proposals, while maintaining a system of perceived fairness. When thinking about all of the organizations, institutions, religions, and groups in existence today, there is no doubt that council will be faced with the controversy over future proclamation proposals, controversy that falls far outside of the intended responsibilities of city government. My request is that we meet in a special meeting to discuss this as a council, formulate a consensus, and change the current open door policy for proclamation requests. There are strong forces looking for ways to promote extreme views that will divide our community. A few have come up in conversation, and I'd like us to not make the city council the venue for those unnecessary battles. So that's it. I thank you for listening. And if you want to make comment tonight or in the future to support the position of considering different ways to deal with future proclamations or maybe to abolish them at all, I would appreciate you speaking up. And if not, well, you know my thoughts on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Smart. Councilmember Bloom.
I got this nifty hat.
Yes, you do.
Last Wednesday, we finally did the dedication of the new Ben Franklin Transit Operations Building. Since I've been on the transit board, which actually is coming up 15 years, this is the second building that will have my name on the nameplate because we did the admin building. And after we did the admin building, shortly after I came on board, we were broke. We now did the operations building and we're not quite broke yet. But it is, you know, we have a new general manager. Tonight we have a item to for reimbursement of with Ben Franklin Transit relative to the transit station in Flat Top. But transit has been improved tremendously, or at least ridership has. We're getting about 300,000 rides a month, which is the population of the Tri-Cities equivalency. And it's been on all the various forms that we give, but mostly on the fixed transit. But importantly, we have a new general manager in place and the attitude is getting better, but we're still looking for bus drivers. So, and dial-a-ride drivers. We're getting back up to staff, but the new building is, you know, quite impressive and makes the job that much easier for the ops people. So they've been living in the same building since 1980. They used to have to share it. Now they have a brand new building to be in. So that's the story behind my hat. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Bloom. I'll just close with a few comments myself. As we end 2024, I just want to offer my sincerest gratitude to our city staff for their hard work and dedication this past year. Your commitment to excellence to our city and to our citizens is really what's made West Richland one of the best communities in our state, and I personally thank you. Thank all of our staff. And also, no matter what holiday you may celebrate this time of year, be it Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or another, I do wish all the city staff, my fellow council members, and our West Richland citizens a joyous holiday season and a prosperous new year. And with that, I will adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:34. Thank you.